Alright, this is going to be my, basically my first attempt at doing unboxing videos. Right now I've got the 2025 Marvel Studios Topps Chrome box. I bought 5 of these. I did get them from Steel City Collectibles. They sent this card and you scratch it off. I got a $5 coupon that I can use on my next purchase from them. So yeah, I just saw these and I thought they'd be pretty cool. So on the front here you have Reed Richards. On the back you have Galactus. And then on the one side you have Bucky and Yelena. So yeah, this says these boxes contain 7 packs per box, 4 cards per pack, and 28 cards total. But packs with special insert may contain less cards. And then you can look for autographs and sketches. And some of these have redemption cards that have expiration dates. And there are 4 exclusive Raywave parallels per box. So yeah, I guess I really haven't looked at all the cards that are in this set. Prior to this, I've seen a few online. I guess the ones I'm really looking for are probably Galactus, I think Daredevil, and Kingpin. Those are probably my top 3 I'm looking for. I think I heard there's like Wolverine and Deadpool in this set too, but again, I haven't seen the entire set, so I kind of wanted to be surprised by any other cards I get. I do know that there was one card I saw was like a recorder Vim or something like that. And I couldn't remember where that character was from, and I guess it was some character from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But I completely forgot about that character, but apparently they have a card in this, so I always find that interesting when minor characters get included in stuff like this. That's always kind of cool to me, because then they're not, you know, small details that get forgotten. But yeah, so let's open the first box. I got 5 of these. And that's cool. On this part you have God Loki. I don't know if you can see that. Looks like he's pulling the timelines with Miss Minutes. That's cool. Didn't know that was in here. That's cool. Yeah, this was just in there covering the top of the cards or the packs. That's pretty cool. Alright. Then we got the Fantastic Four on the front of all the packs, it looks like. Wonder if it's different per box. Don't know. Alright. Open these. Right. So we got Gravik, of course, from Secret Invasion, which everyone loves. And yeah, on the back, it's got what phase they're from. It's got the timeline going through it. It's got the show or movie it's from, and then a description of them. So that's pretty cool. Alright. Then got Reed Richards, a debut card. Let's see. Yeah, pretty much same stuff. Pagan. He's from Secret Invasion 2. See, this is another person I do not remember. Then again, I don't know who wants to remember Secret Invasion. Oh, and then Daniel Blake from Daredevil Born Again. So that's pretty cool. Wasn't expecting a card for him. So that's pretty cool, and it's a refractor. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Try to do this in a way that I don't show what the next card is. Alright, Ulysses Claw. That's pretty cool. John F. Walker. See, I noticed that too. I watched some other videos, like Topps has a collector's box that's like $800 for this set. That's just 3 cards. And they're supposed to be like 3 of the highest quality cards they have. So, yeah, I watched one video of someone opening it, and they weren't that impressed with it. But something I noticed in that one, because one of the cards they pulled was a John Walker one, is I'm kind of curious why they're not using U.S. Agent. I don't know if that was ever addressed, because I'm pretty sure they established him as U.S. Agent in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but for some reason this card set, they're just going with his normal name. So, kind of curious why that is. Then we got Thanos. Oh, and then I just looked at the back here, and this says this is from Thunderbolts, so I wonder if there's a different one for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Then we have Thanos, and then we have Captain America, Brave New World of Isaiah Bradley. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, this is supposed to be an Avengers Endgame. Thanos. Phase 3. Alright. Jan Rog from Captain Marvel. Got Galactus. Debut card. So that's awesome. Ego. That's pretty cool. And Red Hulk. So that's cool. So I got Galactus, one of my 3 I was looking for. Alright, then I got Ben Grimm, another Red Hulk, and Daredevil. Sweet. I like this one. He's got a, compared to the normal ones where it's kind of just space or timelines, this is an actual like brick wall with some smoke. You got the outline of the city at the bottom. And then Maggie Lang. See, it's another one I'm surprised they have. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, the Daredevil. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So now I'm just missing Kingpin. It'd be awesome. Be even better if I got some autographs. But this is just my first box out of the 5 I got. I have Whiplash. It looks like these. Melina, the Iron Maiden. I was kind of disappointed she wasn't fully the Iron Maiden in the movies. Doctor Strange. And Captain America and Falcon. So this is like a scene from the show, or the movie, sorry. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. that off to the side. All right. Ooh, I just saw one. Alright, so I have Wiccan. This is from Agatha All Along. Queen Ramonda. And Bob from Thunderbolts. This is a pretty cool one. Of course, if I could get him as Sentry, I think that'd be a little cooler, but... And Mephisto. That one's pretty cool. I'm hoping we get to see him, you know, coming up in some other projects. Put that one to the side. Alright. Dr. Jane Foster. See, I think that'd be another cool one to get, is Mighty Thor. Yeah. What is... Yeah, and this one says this is from Thor, Phase 1. So yeah, that's what's cool about this set so far. I haven't checked all of them, but it looks like it's pretty much every single phase as of 2025 at least. So I don't know if there's different cards for each character. Like if this one's from Thor, is there going to be one for Thor the Dark World? Stuff like that, just depending on their appearances. Lee, that's Shang-Chi's mother. It's pretty cool. Agent 13. Wonder if they're ever bringing her back as the power broker. And Dr. Wendy Lawson, Captain Marvel. Alright. Now for the second box. Again, there's the Loki pulling the timelines. And that's, yeah, didn't point that out. Most of these have the timelines, like at the bottom. Except for some of the scene cards and the Daredevil one. So again, yeah, it's all Fantastic Four. Didn't know if they would switch it up. Have different people on the front. So we have Ghost from Thunderbolts. You can tell by the suit. Lofi from Thor. And we got Murdoch pays a visit to an old friend. So yeah, some of these Daredevil cards, yeah, Punisher would be awesome too. Yeah, I was a fan of all the Marvel television projects when they were coming out, and I always wanted them to be canonized by Marvel Studios, so it's always fun to see them finally get incorporated and, you know, in this case, included in this set alongside all these, you know, traditional movie characters. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And then Dr. Arnim Zola of the first Avenger. Got Talos, Silver Surfer, the Hulk, and Ruth and Layla Get Ready from Captain America Brave New World. Another scene. So far, 2 Brave New World scenes, cards, and then one from Daredevil Born Again. Arishem Still wondering if we're ever seeing the Eternals ever again. Yeah, none of them have been confirmed for like Doomsday or Secret Wars, but yeah. There's talk about like a Judgment Day movie coming out where it's basically a civil war, or at least in the comics it was like Arishem coming to judge Earth, and then it kind of starts a civil war between, who was it? It was the Avengers, the Eternals, and was it the X-Men? Can't remember. There we go, there's the Sentry. Yeah, definitely like seeing him in his suit. Put that to the side. And here, now Thunderbolts. Valentina tries to provoke violence. So, it's kind of a little different than the other scenes I have, where they have the, like, holographic background. And then Gilgamesh, speaking of Eternals. I think he was a pretty good character in that movie. All right. I have Janet Van Dyne from, this is what, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Agent Peggy Carter. See, that would be interesting if, I don't know if they have this in the set. Again, I haven't checked, but if there were what-if characters, that'd be pretty cool to have as part of this. Cersei, another Eternal, and Frigga. Thor. Alright. Kind of opening these off-camera ones so I don't spoil what I like the back card, but also to try and be more careful about the corners on these. I have to clean this up a bit. Oh, the Void. So that's pretty cool. I have Sentry and the Void cards. That's pretty cool. Brock Rumlow, Crossbones, Druig. Yeah, not sure how I feel about this card. This is one of those where I'm like, I don't know, couldn't find a better pose or anything. Yeah, I guess. And then Sam Wilson. So this is like my other Isaiah Bradley card. So that's pretty cool. Really pushing the Brave New World stuff. Alright. Second to last pack for this box. I have Shuri as Black Panther. It's pretty cool. Nick Fury. Helmut Zemo. You see, he would be one I want in his full suit and mask. And Ultron. Pretty cool. Can't wait for his return in Vision Quest. That'll be cool to see. Alright, last pack for this box. And 3 more boxes. See, Ellen Brandt from Iron Man 3, so that's cool. Wasn't expecting a card for her. Again, I'm a really big fan of including the minor characters and stuff in this, just basically for completion, and it's not focused on just the main people constantly. So I think that's pretty cool. If I remember correctly, she's actually from Man-Thing comics. Because I think somewhere when she's not in her like extremis form, you can see she's got like a scar. And that's supposed to be a reference to the comics where she got burnt by Man-Thing's touch. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. But of course, in the MCU, she had nothing to do with Man-Thing. She was, well, yeah, she was in the MCU before I think any Man-Thing mythos was included. I think the first reference, well, she would have been the first reference. Second was Thor: The Dark World, where Dr. Selvig's got like the Nexus of All Realities on his chalkboard. And yeah, and that was still years before we got Ragnarok, where we see that Man-Thing was a champion on Sakaar. And then, of course, we finally got him in Werewolf by Night. Here's Thor in his Love and Thunder suit. Kind of like the brightness of that suit. Wasn't a fan of the movie, but pretty cool suit. Foggy Nelson, again, like the Daredevil card. Got that brick background, so that's pretty cool. He's supposed to show up in season 2, at least in flashbacks. There are some people theorizing that he actually faked his death, because he did that at some point in the comics too. He faked his own death. But yeah, we'll see. And then Ying Nan from Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings. That's cool. All right, on to the third box. All right. Oh, cool. A Tuma. It's a pretty cool card. I was waiting years and years for Namor to be introduced. I know years ago, Kevin Feige said that there were some rights issues with Universal owning the property. And then, like, after that interview, he mentioned that there were other parties involved. I'm not sure if he still meant Universal, because he just outright said them the first time, and then the second he was more vague about the rights issues. Yeah, because don't know if Fox was part of that rights issue thing back in the day, since Namor is a mutant and Fox owns the mutant rights. So yeah, but still, kind of like the Hulk, don't know if Disney owns the distribution rights to Namor movies. But yeah, maybe we'll get one announced as we move forward after the Secret Wars reboot or reset, and when mutants are more prominent. But yeah, that's pretty cool to have a Tuma. Oh, Frank Castle. So there's a Punisher. Kind of would like a more full body one, especially that image going around from the, I forget what it's called now, the Punisher one-shot special presentation. I forget what they officially called it, but yeah. So that's pretty cool. Another Druid. And Lady Sif. So that's pretty cool. I was glad they actually brought her back for Love and Thunder, because that was a big question back when Ragnarok was out, was like she wasn't around, and it was like, well, where is she? And I think Taika said in an interview she was off planet doing a mission at the time, so that's why she wasn't there. So I was wondering if that was just going to be their like write-off for her character, like she was just gone doing something else and you'll just never see her again. So I think it was pretty cool that they actually did bring her back and kind of explained what she was doing. Yeah, and it kind of reminds me I need to finish watching Blind Spot. There's a TV show Jamie Alexander starred in, if you haven't seen it. Pretty cool. Alright. Baron Strucker from Avengers Age of Ultron. Monica Rambeau in her Spectrum suit. That's cool. It's what, the Marvels. Call Obsidian. That's pretty cool. And Joaquin Torres. So, again, another one of those Brave New World character cards with a holographic background. Kind of wish he was in his suit, though, but I guess the Sam Wilson one I have, he's not really in his suit either. Caecilius, and this is obviously before he his eyes start turning purple and stuff. Red Guardian from Thunderbolts, pretty cool. Another Nick Fury, and the Grand Master. It's pretty cool. Have another Isaiah Bradley from when he's picking up the punching bag. Dreykov, the villain of Black Widow. There's Frank Castle. Again, I think this is kind of a better pose, but he's not in his vest. But yeah, pretty cool. Really pushing the Born Again and Brave New World cards, I think, with the special versions. Icarus. That's pretty cool. T'Challa, Black Panther. Vanessa Fisk, that's cool. I just need Kingpin himself, Mr. Fantastic, and another Brave New World card. Amongst the cherry blossoms, it looks like there's some like error here in the card. Something over Sam's head too. Alright, second to last pack for this box, and then 2 more boxes. Jimmy Woo. If I remember correctly, there was talk of a Jimmy Woo Disney Plus series, but I'm guessing that was canceled years ago. Oh, Dr. Ho Jensen. Scene from Thunderbolts. Bucky attends Valentina's charity event. Kind of a small cameo for Songbird, right? I think. And Dr. Eric Selvig. Alright. Last pack for this box. Really need to organize this better. Alright. Ebony Maw. Congressman Gary. Wasn't expecting a card for him. Another Endgame Thanos. And Xialing. Yeah. And I think we were supposed to get a 10 Rings Disney Plus show or something, because, of course, at the post-credit scene it says the 10 Rings will return. Of course, we haven't seen anything other than she was in What If, and then, well, we are supposed to get, I can't remember his name, the 10 Rings guy from the first Iron Man movie is supposed to be returning in Vision Quest. So I don't know if that's going to be tied to the 10 Rings returning, or if that's somehow going to be a flashback or something like that. Yeah. I forget his name. It was something to do with one of the Starjammers. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Alright, second to last box. Alright, we got Bucky Barnes from Captain America the First Avenger. Another Dreykov. Ralph Boner as Pietro Maximoff. Yeah, I kind of wish, pretty much what everyone else wishes, that there was a little more significance to that. And there we go, Captain America, Sam in his suit. So that's pretty cool. The High Evolutionary. So yeah, I don't know how many people know that, but apparently, at least I think according to James Gunn, it's canon that he's in a prison on Nowhere. Because he kind of, I don't know if they left it where it kind of seems like Rocket killed him or something like that. And then they never show him in prison, but there is a deleted scene, I think, that it shows him in prison. Yeah, I think, if I remember correctly, there was some scooper out there claiming that Nowhere would return in Avengers Secret Wars as the moon for Battle World, and that would kind of be how he makes his return. Yeah, it was a pretty cool, I guess, leak, or supposed leak. But yeah, I think it's one of those instances, I'm pretty sure it wasn't in the movie, that, yeah, a deleted scene is considered canon, or at least to James Gunn it is. Who knows what Marvel Studios is going to do with it now that he's gone. Hope Van Dyne, the Wasp, from Ant-Man and the Wasp. She's got her suit. The Ancient One. And another scene. The President and his advisor. So, yeah. I don't know, I didn't read anything that this was, like, specialty or whatever for Brave New World. You know, they got Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts on the outside of the box, and then Loki on the inside. So, kind of surprised how much Brave New World's in here, but would kind of like a, you know, more of a mix of movies to have scenes from, but... Alright, we have Gamora, I think from the first Guardians movie. Yeah, that is from the first Guardians movie. Wasn't sure if that was like the time travel one or not. Iron Patriot. Looks pretty cool in the space background. Karen Page. Again, another Born Again brick background. And Yellow Jacket, Darren Cross. Still wondering what happened with, again, I forget the character's name. The guy that was buying the Pym particles from him, he grabs like a suitcase full of them and runs off and escapes. And then that's it. We haven't gotten an update on what's happened with him yet, because that was the guy that used to work for S.H.I.E.L.D. that Hank Pym punched, and then he was working with like Hydra and a guy with the 10 rings tattoo on his neck. But Feige did talk about some of those post-credit scenes in an interview. He was asked if they would ever be paid off, and he said that some of them would be paid off soon. Some of them might take years to get to, like the leader did. And then he did say directly that some of them would never be paid off. So I think some storylines are going to get the axe after Secret Wars, just be like, okay, reality's rewritten. So some stuff happened, some stuff didn't happen. And some of those post-credit scenes or even plot lines within the movie might just be erased from reality. Yeah. All right. So Ironmonger. See, again, I don't know. Just to me, feel like a more front-facing stance would be kind of cool instead of having the arm block it. But yeah. Mobius. So finally got a card from Loki. Prince Yan from the Marvels. Again, another minor character I didn't think would get a card, but that's... I still like that they're not that forgotten, that they can be included in stuff like this. And another Pagan. I forget how you pronounce that. Yeah, from Secret Invasion. Alright, this is third to last pack on this box, and then we'll go to the final box. Alright. Shang-Chi. So that's pretty cool. Haven't seen him in years in the MCU. Seen him in What If, and Marvel Zombies, but not in the actual MCU. And here's a Hope Van Dyne from the first Ant-Man movie. Obviously, doesn't have her suit, and she's got that haircut. And Kingo. So that's pretty cool. He was one of my favorite characters from that movie, too. Yeah, he was saying, Kumail was saying that he kind of felt depressed after the movie came out and wasn't met with, like, positive reviews. So, yeah. But I always find it hard, you know, thinking about movies, like, is it the actor's fault? Is it the director's fault? Is it the writer's fault? You know, somebody at the studios, but you know, sometimes I really don't blame the actors most of the time, because I feel like most of the time they're just following orders, and sometimes the orders aren't that great. So, yeah. I think Chris Hemsworth said the same thing when Love and Thunder came out. Like, he felt responsible for that movie not performing that well, which I don't really blame him for that either. And then Sidewinder. It's kind of unfortunate there was a supposed concept art leak from the movie that was supposed to show the Serpent Society, and I think it would have been a more complete, because we only get like 2 members of the Serpent Society in the final movie. And from what it looked like on the leaked concept art is that they would have superhuman abilities, and it almost looked like they were changing their body parts to form weapons, and to me it looked like almost like deviants kind of skin, or however you want to, whatever you want to call it, scales or whatever. So because this movie already ties into Eternals with the whole Celestial and everything, so I didn't know if they were gonna keep going that route. That's what it looked like from the concept art, that somehow they would come across deviant DNA, they'd inject it into themselves, and then that's how they'd get their powers. But of course that didn't happen, and they kind of just set him up for a return. Sidewinder was supposed to like go to a low security prison, so that it'd be, you know, obviously easier for him to break out and go about his mercenary job. So maybe he'll return. I know people weren't happy about his role because it was kind of last minute, just thrown into the movie, because Brave New World went through so many like rewrites and everything and reshoots. All right, second to last pack. For this box. All right, got a Thor from the first Thor movie. Oh, got a Sylvie. Another Loki card. Steve Rogers from the first Avenger. Pretty cool card. And Carly Morgenthau, Flag Smasher. Yeah. Still no autographs, still no sketches. I think I saw some not sketches, signature cards. The autograph cards when I was looking at buying these boxes, but I don't think I ever saw any sketch cards, so I have no idea what those look like. But still looking for Kingpin at least. At least my top. Dane Whitman. Of course, still haven't gotten him as actual Black Knight. Another Dr. Ho Jensen. Different Congressman Gary card. And Happy Hogan from the first Iron Man movie, I'm guessing. Yep. All right. Final box. Got another Thor. Another Shang-Chi. Is this box going to be all repeats? There's a Herbie. Kind of missed out on getting a popcorn bucket version of Herbie. I got the Galactus one, but I think it came broke. One of the horns I can't get into the side of the head that well, but the other side it's like impossible and sounds like I'm gonna break it if I push it any further. So unfortunately I just have to leave it sit as is and not really move it as much before it actually breaks. And then another Sam Wilson Captain America Brave New World card. All right. Have another Void card. Another Daniel Blake. Another Endgame Thanos. And then another Captain America card. So yeah, a lot of repeats now. Alright. Brock Rumlow again. Oh, a Korg. Pretty close up with Korg. Another Red Guardian. Is that the same Red Guardian, or is that is this the Thunderbolts one? I don't know. I didn't really organize this that well, but... And Nakia from Black Panther. So that's pretty cool. A box of repeats. This is the fourth to last pack. Alright, got Shuri as Black Panther. Again, another Maggie Lang. Another Galactus. Should really see if these are the same rarities. And a different, it was a standard Foggy Nelson. The other one had the brick background and everything. Alright. Third to last pack. Another Ellen Brandt. Another Mephisto. Another Doctor Strange. And is this a different Captain America? With his suit on? Yeah, because this was the other one. So this one's the more blue one with his wings open. It doesn't have a shield. Alright, second to last pack. Alright, got Thor from Thor Love and Thunder again. Bucky from Captain America the First Avenger again. Another Dr. Wendy Lawson. And Kingpin. Cool. Obviously like to have him in his like white suit, but it's still pretty cool. Alright, last pack. Hopefully can get some more original cards. And Dane Whitman again. Another Wiccan. Oh, Muse and Daredevil square off. So, forget, where is this? It's maybe The Office. That was one of my things that annoyed me of that first season, was the fight in The Office. If you watch when he's got, what's her name? Heather, prisoner. Muse has his gun, and he walks over to her desk. And then once she starts like struggling or something, he pulls out his knife. So his gun is like nowhere. And then they start like struggling. And then he starts reaching for his gun, which is now over on a table by where Heather was sitting. So it's like he just had the gun on the other side of the room, and now it's over by her. So, you know, it's one of those like continuity issues of doing reshoots. But yeah, that really stuck out to me. Alright, and this might be the last card. Proxima Midnight. So, what am I missing? I think Corvus Glaive is the... Was he the last one I was missing out of the Black Order? Yeah. So, yeah, pretty cool set. Unfortunate that last box got a lot of copies in it. So yeah, I got 3 of the cards that I was looking for. Galactus, Kingpin, Daredevil. Would have liked to get some autographs. Would have been cool to see at least one sketch. But yeah, that was 5 boxes. And again, I got these from Steel City Collectibles. And I got this card in the box with all these. And it comes with a scratch-off code that you could potentially win some percentage off or some dollar amount coupon for your next order from them. But yeah, that's been the 2025 Topps Chrome Marvel Studios set. So yeah, like I said, in the future I might be doing more unboxings. I think I want to do a Lorcana Winter Spell unboxing, and I've got some other unboxings. I might shoot another one right after this. But yeah, so please leave a like and subscribe, and if you like seeing this, maybe I'll buy some more. Yeah, I haven't always been a fan of like the Topps trading cards. Usually they do have pretty generic backgrounds, but I kind of like the whole space background and everything, and I guess you do get a mix of backgrounds. But yeah. So, yeah, like, subscribe. Thanks for watching.